Hi, my name is Bob Tomalillo. I'm a printmaker, and I grew up in Boston and started my printmaking career in 1970, working not too far from here on Stanhope Street in Boston at a print shop called Impressions Workshop. And that was a burgeoning time for the print workshops when artists looked for a cheaper method to develop their artwork. I've been making prints now for a very long time, mostly lithographs, but I also do engravings. I donated my litho press that's in the background to the Artists for Humanity, and we decided to develop the space into a full workshop. We just finished our summer program at Artists for Humanity amidst this troubled time, and we're looking forward to some great things to come out of the shop. It's well known that Artists for Humanity is the largest employer of youth in the city of Boston. I heard a lot of great things that came out of the organization, and I just felt that I wanted to lend a hand and hopefully develop a printmaking studio that we could use in addition to the other phenomenal facilities that we have here to just encourage the making of things and develop the artistic talent of the youth. As I said, we just finished our summer program, and this being the 250th anniversary of the Boston Massacre, we developed a project that surrounds the printing of the Boston Massacre, and also a fact that is known to some people, that the first person to die in that melee on March 5th in 1770 was a mixed race person named Crispus Attucks. He was a former slave from Framingham, Massachusetts. His mother was from the Natick tribe, a native Indian tribe called the Praying Indians of Natick. His father was an African they called him Prince. And so that much we know. His slave master was William Brown, and Crispus was a large gentleman, and that was his physique was described in numerous testimony during the event of March 5th, 1770. And so knowing about the printing of the massacre plate and the depiction of the different images in that plate, nowhere on that image that Paul Revere engraved was the image of Crispus Attucks. So in developing and understanding the impact of art and the impact of printmaking, it occurred that we should reboot the Boston Massacre and add the image of Crispus Attucks to the original scene. As a printmaker, I was exposed to the last printing of the Boston Massacre plate in 2003. The Massachusetts Historical Society decided to print a number of copies and generate sales for the organization. And the same person who taught me how to make prints was put in charge of that, of publishing those images and printing those images. So I was intimately aware and saw the plate being printed, and was enthusiastic about what was happening, and began to investigate the facts about the plate and the printing of the Boston Massacre. And so after that printing of the plate in 2003, the plate was retired for posterity and now sits under glass at the archives at Columbia Point, never to be printed again. So given all of those facts, I thought it was interesting if I could produce another plate, a facsimile plate, same size, same image, but include the image of Crispus Attucks in the forefront that shows exactly how the event evolved. The printing and the insertion of the image of Crispus Attucks was born out of some of the new technology that we have available to us. But the fact is that I'm using a similar kind of copper plate. I'm using the precise image of the Boston Massacre. And the only difference is that I've engraved an image of Crispus Attucks similar to the engraved lines that Paul Revere had inscribed into the copper plate. And then through film and a photogravure, we've inserted the image of Crispus Attucks into the original scene. It seemed to me that in this time, the image of Crispus Attucks needed to be included just to sort of change the narrative and allow Americans to understand that we are a multiracial country and that there were great contributions given to our freedom by many different groups, including Crispus Attucks. Well, we've got a great print shop here, and little did I know that we'd be undergoing this sort of social isolation, but we've included 9 cubicles for artists to work and study. And the hope is that we're going to continue to work and create prints that will be sold through the organization, as well as creating a collaborative where artists can come in here and rent space and work using this etching litho press and also the picture framing area. Yeah, this was sort of an unusual time and place, but the organization moved forward and invited teens to come in and continue working, and we've done that under duress, but everybody has been very careful about keeping distance and keeping their masks on when they're working, and I just found it a very joyous and fulfilling time to see young people who really have not had any printmaking experience whatsoever do some amazing things. And there's one thing that we can say about printmaking, it's process oriented. So you can see all the mechanics, simple mechanics of the gears and pivots on the presses, all hand driven, and it's a process driven medium, whereas you have a beginning and an end, and you have to control each step of the way. And I think that alone allows us to look a little bit more clearer, maybe focus a little bit more inward. And of course, what happens when you have that inward focus with printmaking, you tend to develop righteous imagery. And to me, I think that's the most powerful thing about printmaking, is that it's reflective. And if you do it long enough, you start to develop a profound sense of really who you are and what your position is in the world.